Welcome to this special edition of Inside the Sister Carmen Community Center. I'm your host, Erica Lewis Mansfield.
When you add up our bills, we are like $400 in debt every month, and that doesn't include food.
Well, I got really sick and didn't really expect our medical bills to be what they were, and they are.
Right now I'm pretty much living off of rice, and I came here to get beans and just stuff so I can survive.
Sister Carmen Community Center invests in people and families, and that investment leads to positive changes in those families and the community as a whole. In 2013, Sister Carmen served more than 8,000 people in Lafayette, Louisville, Superior, and Erie, and that number grows every year. Just to give you a good idea who those people are, more than 60% are single or divorced. Almost a half are unemployed or looking for work. More than a quarter are working or underemployed. And almost 40% of the people they serve are children. And joining me now to talk more about Sister Carmen's mission and programs is the organization's very energetic CEO, Suzanne Crawford. Suzanne, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Erica. I'm really excited to talk to you about the Community Center.
And let's talk about the Community Center and what your mission really is.
So our mission at Sister Carmen Community Center is to provide assistance for residents of Eastern Boulder County who are in need, and we do that without discriminating.
How did all of this get started?
It's actually kind of an interesting story. There was actually a Catholic nun named Sister Carmen who was sent by the church to do outreach with migrant workers in Eastern Boulder County. And she and some volunteers she was working with quickly discovered that there were a lot of people who needed food. So she and those volunteers started distributing food out of someone's garage, and that's how Sister Carmen got started.
Thank you very much, Suzanne.
You're welcome.
One of the main goals of Sister Carmen is to ensure people in East Boulder County have access to nutritious food and a healthy lifestyle. Last year, they distributed more than 1.2 million pounds of food. Sarah Jensen is here to explain how that food helped almost 2,500 families in Boulder County. Sarah, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having us, Erica.
So tell me a little bit how the food bank works.
Absolutely. So our food bank is provided for anyone who lives in our service area. We serve without discrimination. So that means if someone can come in and prove they live in our service area, then they're able to access food. They're allowed to come twice a month, and they receive a little over 100 pounds of food depending on the day. And it really frees up a lot of income for our families.
Wow.
So it means they can afford things like paying for their electricity bill, or maybe that extra money they need for their rent, or maybe something like a long-term goal, like going back to school.
One thing that's also really interesting and unique about Sister Carmen is you have a garden that goes alongside the food bank.
We do. We have a beautiful garden that's run primarily by volunteers and participants who access our programs. It's all organic. And so we use it primarily as an educational tool and also to provide some supplemental food for our food bank.
So one thing too that's also really interesting about Sister Carmen is that these families get to pick their own food. And in doing that, you also have programs that help them figure out how to prepare it.
Right. So we employ what's called a client choice model at our food bank, meaning families get a certain amount of points to spend in each kind of food category. So along with that freedom to choose, we also want to educate people on how to make good choices for their family. One of the ways we do that is a class that I've been teaching for a while called Eating Smart Being Active. Eating Smart Being Active is part of the SNAP-Ed curriculum. It's an 8-week course where each class we do a little bit of exercise. We learn a lot about nutrition. We do some healthy cooking methods and find good ways to save money at the grocery store.
Okay, thank you so much, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you.
Many people may not know that Sister Carmen does a great deal of individual and family advocacy. For example, they awarded more than $78,000 in rental and mortgage assistance last year, more than $76,000 in utility assistance, and helped enroll more than 200 people in health insurance programs. And joining me to talk about that part of the organization is Andrea Ostroy. Andrea, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having us, Erica.
Andrea, a lot of times when these families come to you, they are in crisis mode.
They absolutely are. A lot of families first come to us with either an eviction notice where they have maybe 3 days before they're told they have to leave their home, or they have a shut-off with Excel. And so they're coming to us hoping that we'll help them with financial assistance so that they can pay their bills and maintain their housing or power.
And how do you help them with that? You help them maybe set goals, or?
Yeah, well, first we identify the crisis and find out, what's going on and what maybe caused it. And as we're doing that, we start identifying and noticing that there may be some other areas that they need support around. And so we kind of work with the families to help them identify the goals that they need. We feel that the families are really the experts in their lives, and they know what they need to get out of the crisis, what they need to prevent it from a future crisis, and how we can best support them in that.
And as wonderful as Sister Carmen is with helping them with that journey, there are other organizations that I know you try to connect them with as well.
Absolutely. We can't do it alone. We need the community to be involved in that. Families really need that feeling that there's a safety net out there for them. And so by working with other organizations, such as helping them apply for public benefits, we assist with applying for Medicaid applications so they can get insurance, connecting them with maybe a parent education program or within the schools, just so that when they leave us, we may work with them ongoing for several months or even a year, but we're not enough a lot, and we may have identified mental health that they need or just other support services so they can be as successful as they want.
Andrea, thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
The majority of families Sister Carmen serves are children, so naturally, Children's Services are a big part of what they do. Jennifer Cummins is here to talk about a popular program that you have called Catch Kids. This is really cool.
Yeah, so Catch is an after-school program that focuses on healthy foods and physical activity. So it's offered 3 days a week, and kids get an opportunity to be physically active as well as learn about foods that are nutritious and good for them to eat.
So give us an example of how that works.
Yeah, so during the after-school period, the kids have a chance to run around, be active, and as well as learn what foods are go, what foods they should eat a lot of, and what foods they should limit in their diet, such as soda, fast food, that kind of thing.
And one of the big things when it comes to kids is how they're doing developmentally, and I know you have special programs for that.
Yeah, so on site we do offer developmental screenings called the Ages and Stages Questionnaire, and that helps parents identify for children under 5 if they're ready for kindergarten. And those can point out areas that their children are doing really well in, as well as areas to work on before they enter school.
Jennifer, thank you so much for telling us about those programs as well.
Thanks.
So as you just heard, Sister Carmen Community Center helps individuals and families live healthier lives and move towards a greater degree of self-reliance. That includes food, housing, and children's services. So by helping Sister Carmen, you're helping an entire community thrive. Thanks for joining us.
And Sister Carmen's been a blessing.
If they weren't here, a lot of people would be suffering.
It's crucial, it's imperative, and there's no way to say thank you. Thank you for letting us be healthy and thrive.